20 of the world's best engineers stood defeated. A million-dollar Bugatti sat lifeless, and then a tired single dad in worn-out clothes stepped forward, and in just 5 minutes, he did the impossible. Before we dive into this unbelievable story, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to Kind Soul Stories for more powerful, life-changing stories, just like this one. The morning light spilled through the massive glass windows of the luxury showroom, reflecting off the flawless curves of the CEO's Bugatti like a spotlight on a priceless gem. But today, that brilliance felt hollow. The car, once a symbol of perfection and power, sat completely unresponsive, its silence echoing louder than any engine ever could. Around it, 20 of the most accomplished engineers stood in frustration, their confidence slowly crumbling with every failed attempt. Their expensive suits were slightly wrinkled now, sleeves rolled up, ties loosened, signs of a battle they were losing. Laptops displayed endless streams of diagnostic data. Tools clattered against the marble floor, and quiet murmurs of confusion filled the air. No one could pinpoint the problem. Every system check returned contradictions. Every solution led to another dead end. Hours had already turned into an entire day, and the pressure in the room had become suffocating. At the far end stood the CEO, his sharp eyes scanning every movement, his patience hanging by a thread. He was not used to failure, especially not in front of him. His voice finally broke the tension, cold and cutting. "I trusted the best minds to handle this. Is this what excellence looks like?" The words stung, but no one dared to respond. Just then, the heavy glass doors opened quietly, almost unnoticed. A man stepped in carrying a small worn toolbox in one hand. His clothes were simple, slightly faded, and his face carried the tired weight of long nights and endless responsibilities. He was the janitor, someone most people barely acknowledged. Yet there was something different in the way he walked, a calm steadiness that didn't match the chaos around him. He paused for a moment, observing the scene, the scattered tools, the frustrated experts, the silent car. Then slowly he moved closer. One engineer glanced at him and scoffed under his breath, dismissing him instantly. But the man didn't react. Instead, his eyes focused on the Bugatti, studying it with quiet intensity, as if he could hear something others couldn't. And in that moment, without saying a word, it felt like he understood more than everyone else. In the room combined, the air in the showroom grew heavier as the janitor stepped closer to the Bugatti, his quiet confidence clashing with the visible frustration of the engineers. A few of them exchanged amused glances, clearly unconvinced that this ordinary-looking man could offer anything of value. One engineer let out a short laugh and muttered, "We've spent hours running advanced diagnostics, and now he thinks he'll fix it by just looking at it?" Another shook his head, whispering, "This is getting embarrassing." But the janitor remained unfazed. He placed his small toolbox gently on the polished floor, the faint sound echoing in the tense silence. Without rushing, he circled the car once, his eyes carefully scanning every detail, the alignment of the panels, the faint vibration beneath the hood, even the subtle smell in the air that no one else seemed to notice. Then he paused, placing his hand lightly on the surface of the car, almost as if he were listening to it. The engineers watched with a mix of curiosity and disbelief, their skepticism slowly turning into quiet attention. The CEO, still standing with crossed arms, narrowed his eyes but said nothing this time. Something about the man's calm presence was different. It wasn't arrogance, it wasn't luck, it was experience hidden beneath simplicity. The janitor finally bent down and opened the hood, moving with careful precision. He didn't start pulling parts out or running complex tools like the others had. Instead, he observed patiently, deeply, his fingers tracing along the connections as if following an invisible map. Seconds passed, but they felt longer in the silence. One engineer checked his watch, ready to mock the man when his 5 minutes would be over. But then the janitor stopped at a small section deep inside the engine. His expression shifted slightly, as if he had found something. Without hesitation, he reached into his toolbox and pulled out a simple tool. The movement was so confident, so certain, that it caused even the most doubtful engineer to lean forward just a little. The room was no longer filled with whispers or laughter, only anticipation. And for the first time since the problem began, it felt like someone was no longer guessing, but actually understanding. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to Kind Soul Stories for more inspiring journeys. Because sometimes the smallest voices carry the biggest lessons.